Coming up on News 9 at noon, guns swiped from a Metro gun range are now in the hands of criminals. Plus, a Tulsa officer is on paid leave after shooting and killing a man. And some Oklahomans may see winter weather today. Robin King has your update.
Winter's just around the corner.
On the scene, on the story, News 9 starts now.
Thanks for joining us today on News 9 at noon. I'm Chris Gilmore. More than 24 guns swiped from a Metro gun range are now in the hands of criminals. It happened early this morning at Wilshire Gun in Oklahoma City. Our Sylvia Corkill joins us with the surveillance video.
Earlier this morning, police tell us 3 thieves came to the store, used this rock to smash out the front door, were in and out in 45 seconds, and it was all caught on camera.
Basically, they just smashed and grabbed and took as much as they could get their hands on.
Wilshire Gun Assistant Manager Kevin Maxfield tells me the 3 masked men seen in this video were on a mission.
They were in and out of here in less than a minute.
Just enough time to load up and move out, just seconds ahead of the law.
I got here, Oklahoma City Police was already here. They had surrounded the building.
Thankfully, no crime is perfect. In the hurry to get away with multiple firearms in tow, one of these criminals left behind a possible calling card.
The University of North Carolina hat, it was a blue hat.
It will be tested for DNA. Maxfield says the main concern is finding the guns.
So that's a lot of firearms out there on the street that they took from us that could be used for all manner of crimes out there in Oklahoma City and the surrounding areas.
And making sure they aren't targeted again.
Don't come back. Don't try it again.
Management tells me this is a crime that's happening more and more often, and that they're now more focused than ever on getting these armed criminals off the streets. On the scene, on the story in Oklahoma City, Sylvia Corkill, News 9.
Thank you, Sylvia. A man is dead after being shot by a Tulsa police officer yesterday. Investigators say someone called 911 and said a man was running down the street naked, carrying a gun. Police say they told the man to put down the gun, but he refused. That's when shots were fired. Police say the officer involved is on paid leave while the investigative process is ongoing. Now, Enid police now are asking for your help identifying a man accused of stealing hundreds from an area Walmart. The Enid News and Eagle reports that death happened last Wednesday. Police say he left the store in a blue Oldsmobile Alero. If you know who he is, you're asked to call Enid police. Now over to an update out of Norman. Donations continue to climb at the Downs Family Christmas Light Ministry. Around 2 weeks ago, about $1,500 were ripped out of the family's drive-through donation drop box. Now an unnamed hero wrote a check for $1,000 to get the group back on track. The family says so far they've raised about $32,000 in between 12 and 14,000 pounds of food. However, they've had to step up security, even add security cameras.
We've got off-duty police officers helping out. Every night that thing is being cleaned out and the door's being left open now. So in case you get the idea that there's something in there, you can just look and you don't have to destroy my box.
The show runs through January 1st. Taking a live look outside from our Air Comfort Skycam network, a somewhat clear day. Let's get a quick look from Robin about what's going on outside.
Well, we are looking at a cold day ahead. You can see Air Comfort Skycam, those low-lying clouds kind of hanging out across Oklahoma City. We are dry here in the metro. However, some places across Oklahoma will have the chance for some light freezing drizzle and some light freezing rain as we go throughout later today. So here we go. 31 right now here in Oklahoma City, 21. It feels even colder when you factor in that north-northwest wind at 13 miles per hour. Where can we see and pinpoint the chance for some more winter weather? Well, that'll be for folks off to the southwest and south half of the state. Kind of pick out your county across the state of Oklahoma. And if you're in the orange, that's where we have the potential for some light freezing drizzle again as we go throughout later this afternoon into this evening. Complex to the north of us, that'll stay to the north out of Oklahoma. We're looking at that precipitation to move in from North Texas and push to the north, getting into southwest and south Oklahoma. It's very light in nature. Freezing rain, freezing drizzle, I should say, happened earlier this morning in places near Lawton, Buchanan, and we'll continue to track that as we go throughout the afternoon. Details to come. Chris?
Thanks, Robin. Now time for a consumer alert. Some people in Guthrie are noticing unexpected charges now appearing on their bank account statements. The transactions took place at Tony's Quick Stop, and some customers say they date back as far as February. The store's owners say their credit card processing company did not process all of the transactions, but that the system was not hacked. Oklahoma's unemployment rate is on the decline. That's according to the state's Employment Security Commission. Newly released figures show the unemployment rate for November was 4.2% down from 4.4% in October. Despite the decrease, Oklahoma's unemployment rate is still higher than the national rate. And the president says he's focused on 2018 as he works at his Mar-a-Lago, Florida resort. Mola is at the White House with a look at the agenda.
President Trump sent out a Christmas night tweet saying it would be back to work today to make America great again. First item on the agenda, a round of golf at his Florida club. The White House says the president will be focusing on his 2018 agenda during his time at Mar-a-Lago. This was the president last Friday before leaving for Florida.
I'll be working very hard during that Christmas because we have many things we're talking about, including North Korea, including a lot of things happening in the Middle East.
In addition to national security, the president's 2018 agenda includes a $1 trillion infrastructure bill to repair America's roads and bridges and a revisit of health care. President Trump pushed Congress to include a repeal of the individual mandate as part of the tax reform bill.
This is a requirement that people buy insurance that they don't want and don't need. And that was one of the pillars of Obamacare, and we've gotten rid of that.
The president tweeted this morning that because of the individual mandate repeal, he says Democrats and Republicans will eventually come together and develop a great new health care plan. Also on the agenda this next year, throwing a party. President Trump ended his first year in office without hosting a foreign leader for a state visit. The last president to do that was Calvin Coolidge. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, the White House.
Firefighters in Southern California are slowly containing more of the largest wildfire in state history. The Thomas Fire, which ignited earlier this month, has burned hundreds of thousands of acres and destroyed more than 1,000 structures. Volunteers from all over are now heading west to give crews some relief. Almost 1,600 firefighters spent their Christmas helping to battle the blaze. Right now, the fire is 86% contained. And back here in Oklahoma, some are getting ready for an emotional trip to the Rose Parade. 8-year-old Aiden Hooper was killed in an accident at the 2013 Liberty Fest parade in Edmond. His tissue and organs have since saved 2 other children. Aiden will be honored at next week's Rose Parade in California. His parents say this is the first parade they've been to since the accident.
We're coming back where it all began, but this time in a positive way.
Aiden's parents say they hope his story will inspire others to become organ and tissue donors. The Oklahoma State University Marching Band is headed to Florida. About 300 students are traveling to Orlando in 7 buses as the Cowboys get ready to take on Virginia Tech in the Camping World Bowl. The band has a full slate of rehearsals and pep rallies ahead of Thursday's game. They'll also get to march in a parade at Disney World on Friday before returning home. Well, coming up, many states woke up to a white Christmas yesterday, and many more are preparing for an Arctic blast to come. Plus, if a gift you got this Christmas just isn't for you, don't worry. You can start returning ASAP. But first, how today's 5 o'clock traffic may be a little more stressful than normal. You may want to pack some patience on your commute home from work today. The day after Christmas is expected to be one of the busiest travel days of the year. Peak driving times will be from 10 a.m. until 2 o'clock. AAA says 97 million Americans plan to hit the road this holiday season. And if you've got a holiday present you aren't crazy about, you can turn it into something today. That morning kicks off the so-called annual Return-a-thon. According to the National Retail Federation, only 4% of shoppers return their gifts. If you do have a return, make sure to check your receipt for store policies and deadlines. Amazon extends its returns through January 31st for a full refund. Meanwhile, some people are deciding what to do with their gift cards, especially if they have one to a store they don't shop at. The latest data from Wallet Hub shows almost $1 billion in gift cards went unused in 2015. So which ones have the best resale value? Netflix takes the top spot, followed by Best Buy, Walmart, Apple, and Applebee's. And there's a warning for parents today concerning certain toys your children may have gotten for Christmas. Experts say hackers can easily target any smart toy with a microphone, camera, or location tracking ability. However, there are things you can do to protect your children. When connecting toys to the internet, make sure your network password is hard to guess. Also, turn off the toy when it's not in use so it can't continue to collect data.
All right, well, the day after Christmas, a lot of folks headed out on the roads, and we're talking winter weather advisory for some parts of Oklahoma. Details to come.
Yeah, not only will Oklahoma experience winter weather, much of the nation is expecting an Arctic blast this week. Stay with us.
On the right is Ramjack American Leveling's extensive foundation process. Each mark is a foot of pipe down into the ground. We go to depth with our
On the scene, on the story, this is News 9.
Much of the nation is bracing for an Arctic blast this week. That's after more than a dozen states woke up to a white Christmas yesterday. There were blizzard conditions in parts of New England. Thousands of flights coast to coast were canceled or delayed.
You and I talked about this yesterday. You're from Florida, so you kind of are used to the beach on Christmas.
Yeah, we make snowmen out of sand.
Yeah, well, I'm from Ohio, so my family actually got a white Christmas back in Ohio. Here in Oklahoma, we just got the cold.
Yeah, it didn't get a bad deal, huh?
No, it wasn't too bad, but you know what? A lot of folks are like, wait, if it's going to be this cold, are we going to see any chance for that snow? Well, not the case. We're actually talking wildfires that did start. Now, this is not a massive one whatsoever, but our own storm tracker, Marty Logan, was out just a little east of Woodward earlier this morning, and he caught footage of what appeared to be a fire on top of a wind tower. Again, this is from Marty Logan earlier this morning, and you can see kind of making damage on that wind tower there. Some fire crews were quickly on the scene, and that fire was put out and it was in control. But again, we're talking just such dry conditions up north, especially to the northwest and along the Panhandle, where unfortunately snow. We're talking fires here in late December. You know who did see some snow though? A little bit of snow. Kind of a storm tracker or snow tracker earlier this morning. Lacey Swope posted this on Facebook, but she saw some snowflakes, very, very light flurries in Guymon, Oklahoma. She's on her way to vacation, I believe, and she kind of posted that. So I was like, oh, we're going to show some snow in Oklahoma. And again, that was along the Panhandle. Okay, well, let's talk about what we can expect with winter weather. We have winter weather advisory for southwest and southern parts of the state as we go throughout today, all the way till midnight. Now, we're not expecting a lot of precipitation, just some light freezing drizzle. That'll be the main game for later this afternoon into this evening. We had a little bit earlier this morning, the sensitivity on the radar kind of picking a little bit of that up near Duncan and also getting into Lawton. They had some reports, again, far southwest Oklahoma. We're not expecting a lot of precipitation, but just enough. Today's a big travel day to keep that in mind and be weather aware, especially if you're traveling to the south and southwest where temperatures are flirting near that freezing mark. Right now, 28 in Lawton, 32 in Duncan. And where we're seeing road temperatures, the good news is road temperatures, especially in areas where they are seeing air temperatures at freezing, looks like road temperatures are in the upper 30s. So mainly your focus will be bridges and overpasses. If you do run into any drizzle opportunity that could be freezing drizzle, we'll be the first to see some slick spots. Again, we'll be on bridges and overpasses later this afternoon into this evening. Overall, the rest of us facing the cold that's locked into place from today all the way till next year. I know it's kind of hard to believe, but even kicking off 2018, another Arctic blast headed our way for this upcoming weekend. It's a cold but cloudy day here across Oklahoma City. Cars not having any problems as our roads are completely dry, and that's how they'll stay here in the metro, not seeing any winter weather advisories at all. 21 is what it feels like, so 31 sounds a lot better than what it actually feels like on your skin. Temperatures across the metro and the central part of the state, we're seeing wind chills in the single digits near Clinton and Weatherford, 21 here in Oklahoma City, and 20s off to the east and southeast of Oklahoma City. Most of us are seeing those worst wind chills. Look at that, still below zero in Guymon, and just a little bit of precipitation when it's that cold and you have that northwest wind can produce some flurry activity, and they'll have that chance as we go throughout later this afternoon. So highs today, again, below average, about 10 to 15 degrees for most of the state, and we're going to be bottom bottoming on out in the low to mid 30s today and tomorrow here in Oklahoma City. Those 40s do return as that wind will shift out of the south-southwest direction later this week ahead of our next major system that'll be knocking on our doorstep by Friday and heading into Saturday and Sunday. But then behind that, even colder air. I'm talking coldest yet of the season. I know that's hard to believe. So here's the setup. Again, a little bit of precipitation, some drizzle, freezing drizzle off to the southwest and south part of the state. Otherwise, we are blanketed with that cloud deck for most of today, and most of the state is seeing the clouds. Watch the precipitation. Again, very light in nature. The model having a hard time kind of getting gears of where that's going to be positioned. That'll mainly be off to the southwest. And the south, again, not here in Oklahoma City, so pinpointing if you're going to head that way. Some flurries along the Panhandle, not out of the question for today, continuing into tonight as well. Otherwise, here in Oklahoma City, I think the best chance for precipitation will be arriving this New Year's Eve weekend. But look at that, New Year's Day, the first day of 2018. Hello, with a high of 20.
Wow.
No big deal. Can you handle that, Florida boy?
Robin, I know you were upset about not getting snow here in central Oklahoma, so I went ahead and made you a snowflake.
Thank you.
For you, so you can go ahead and have that, yeah.
Thank you.
Send that back home. Coming up next, a new study warns against people trying the water diet. The popularity online is causing harm in reality. But first, Dr. Lacey Anderson answers a question about basal cell carcinoma in today's Daily Dose. Stay with us. In today's Daily Dose with Dr. Lacey Anderson, a viewer says she had radiation treatment 6 months ago on her nose for basal cell carcinoma. She now has a bump on the inside of the same nostril. She asks if this could be related to the earlier cancer.
Basal cell carcinomas are a common form of skin cancer that can cause a deep local invasion into surrounding tissues. They're associated with UV light and fair skin. The risk of basal cell carcinoma increases with age. They're more common in warmer areas and in regions closer to the equator. The prognosis with most basal cell carcinomas is excellent, and they tend to be very slow growing. They don't tend to metastasize like other forms of skin cancer, like melanomas, but some forms can be more aggressive. They can be treated with surgery, destruction with cryotherapy or electrodesiccation, topical medications, and radiation treatments. Recurrence rates are often low, but if you've noticed a new bump on the inside of the nose, I'd want you to get it checked by your primary care doctor or your dermatologist. It may be a small pimple or other minor skin problem that isn't dangerous, but when it comes to skin cancer, we don't want to take chances. Good luck.
If you have a question for Dr. Lacey Anderson, call the hotline at 841-9999 or email dailydose@news9.net. Nutritionists are warning everyone trying to lose weight this holiday season not to try the water diet. The premise is pretty simple. All you do is skip food and drink either water, tea, or coffee. The diet is very popular online, but nutritionists say it's one of the most dangerous they've ever seen and could cause your organs to shut down. They recommend losing weight with something we're all familiar with, diet and exercise. And people with HIV are at greater risk for hepatitis B. Doctors recommend vaccination, but a study from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention finds more than a third of those patients skip it. The hepatitis B virus attacks the liver, which is one of the biggest threats for HIV patients. Taking a live look from our Air Comfort Skycam network, a clear, cool day. Robin has a look at the hour-by-hour afternoon forecast coming up. Talk about a Christmas surprise. A 1 meter long freshwater croc was seen yesterday wandering a footpath in a suburb in Australia. Unsure what to do with the animal, police called in a professional reptile catcher to corral the crocodile. Police are unsure where the reptile came from and are presuming it was a pet. The freshwater crocodile will stay with the reptile catcher until the Department of Environment, Land, Water and Planning can collect it.
I don't know what's more impressive, that story or your Australian accent.
Well, she's a real beaut, I can tell you that.
Good day, mate.
Well, speaking of the day, I said it was a clear day, but it's more of cloudy, huh?
Yeah, those clouds rolled on in. We started the day off mostly sunny. Those clouds swept across most of the state. We're going to see them continue as we go throughout today. And if you're off to the southwest and south, heads up, winter weather advisory. You can see some light freezing drizzle in those areas, but we're dry here in the metro.
That's all the time we have for today, but thank you for joining us here at noon. We'll be back here at 4.